Today on Tikifire Toy Reviews, Marvel Legends Havok from the Giant Man series by Toybiz. Hello, Tikifire here with another Tikifire Toy Review. This is another review in the Giant Man series. This was a Walmart exclusive back in 2006. And so it's been 9 years since these have been out. I managed to track down every last one of them. All 10 figures I would need to build Giant Man, because I really wanted to build Giant Man, obviously. This is Havok. In case you don't know anything about Havok, Havok is Alex Summers. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because he's the younger brother of Cyclops, Scott Summers from the X-Men, the guy that fires the optical beams from his eyes, yes. And Havok has appeared in 2 movies so far. He's been in X-Men First Class and in X-Men Days of Future Past, and he's also supposed to be in next year's X-Men Apocalypse movie. And he's been played by Lucas Till in all 3 of those movies. So, in the comics, he first appeared back in Uncanny X-Men number 54 back in 1969. Wow, crazy. And the packing comic here is X-Men number 97, so that's interesting. And we'll have to take a look at that and see what's going on there. It looks like the original team, but after they changed their uniforms. And this is his classic comic uniform, Havok here. Now he fires plasma blasts. Or I guess fire, I don't know if fire would be the right term. He just generates them, and he's always had a hard time controlling them in the comics. And he had an on-again, off-again relationship with the rest of the X-Men team in the comics. He would often quit the team, then come back and help them out again, then leave again. You know, it was just always on again, off again with him and the X-Men. And kind of cool character, though. And I always liked this classic costume look of his. I always thought it was kind of cool. Let's take a look at the back. And this comes with the left leg of Giant Man, as the package says. And it says, Havok. He's a man determined to escape his shadow. Shadow his past. Shadow his brother, Scott Summers, a.k.a. Cyclops. Working with the X-Men, Havok learned to keep his powers in check, allowing him to gain mastery over them and to release them only when necessary. But Havok, consumed by comparisons to his revered brother, longed to get out from under Scott's shadow. He left the X-Men and had many adventures. Havok was resourceful and fiercely committed to the cause of mutant equality. There's no doubt he will once again take his place among the X-Men, not only to help prevent the coming genetic war, but also to find a way to step out of the shadows and allow his true talents to shine. And something I noticed there, it didn't mention his real name. That's kind of weird. So even in this little blurb here on the back of the package, Scott's still more important because it mentions his name, but not Alex. Go figure. Alright, so look at the power grid. We got intelligence, he's up in the 2s, strength up in the 2s, speed up in the 2s, durability 3, energy projection of 5. Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. Fighting skills at 2. So, height 6'1", weight 180 pounds, eyes brown, hair blonde. So he's an interesting character. Has a lot of angst because he's unable to control his powers and people have gotten hurt and all that kind of thing. So, kind of cool. So we're going to cut him open, take a look at him, and we'll also take a look at that Giant Man leg. So, hang on. Alright, so what's in the package? Well, we've got the Havok figure, which we'll take a closer look at here in a minute. We got this reprint comic, which has one cover on it, saying, Enter the Man Called Havok, which is probably from his first appearance, and has the old X-Men on it. And then on the inside, this is actually a different comic. That's kind of bizarre. This is actually issue number 97. The all-new, all-different X-Men. With the more modern team, or at least the 80s team. And there's Havok fighting. Okay, so that one, and it's called My Brother, My Enemy. That's kind of weird that they did that, but, you know, whatever. Also, you get the right leg of Giant Man. Yay! Or not the right leg, the left leg, I'm sorry. Left leg of Giant Man. And since I have his left boot, we're going to go ahead and put it together. Put it together. Put it together. Alright. It just snaps together. Easier said than done on these things, but there it goes. Alright, cool. And it's a rotation point on the leg. Alright. So now we've got the legs of Giant Man. Boy, he's going to be big. I love these giant figures. Alright. Cool. Alright, so what about old Cyclops' brother here, Havok? What about him? Well, he's a pretty cool looking figure. He does look just like his appearances in the comics back in the 60s through the 80s. I do believe they changed his costume in the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there, when he was part of X Factor, I believe. But this is a pretty good likeness of him. He looks angry, which is pretty accurate. Most of the time he was pretty mad in the comics. And kind of neat. Looks like he's getting ready to power blast someone. And he's all black, except for the white center part, and the silver around his neck, and of course these white hoops on his head. Now the way they showed his power working in the movie was pretty cool. It came out, these plasma blasts and rings, and kind of flew out of this thing they made for him at Professor Xavier's school. They made a little thing for him to train him, and it would blast out of his chest. It was kind of neat, I thought. Alright, so what about the figure here? Well, he's got your bend down arms. So you can make him ready to, and he's gonna, you know, cry havoc. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the name really lent itself to that gag. Alright, so he's got a swivel at the bicep. He's got a double jointed elbow. You can swivel his arms at the wrists. Both hands will either open up to be completely flat. Well, this one opens up flat. This one's a little slightly bent. And then both will bend at the wrist. That's kind of cool. He does have a ball joint at the shoulders that will rotate around if you mess with it a little bit. Okay. He does have a swivel neck. And his head is on, looks like a ball joint. He can look up. He can look down. Alright. He does have the ab crunch. Whoa. Boy, these old ones. They are stiff when you first mess with them. Okay. He's got the ab crunch going on. You can twist him at the waist. This one is a little stiff. That's okay. I'd rather have it stiff than loose. Okay, you can turn the ball joint. That one turns pretty easy. You can turn the ball joint there. He does have a turning point at the upper thigh as well. Double jointed knees. He's got the rocker ankle. Typical Toybiz. He's got a swivel at the calf. Rocker ankle back and forth. Will go up and down. And of course, the Toybiz bend at the toe. So overall, a very good likeness of Havok from his early incarnation. Looks just like him, I think, and that's kind of cool. I kind of like it. Now, would I have gone out of my way to buy this Havok figure if it wasn't part of the Giant Man set? Probably not, unless I was just trying to make an X-Men collection of some sort. Because he's not even really an X-Men member all the time. He comes and goes, like I said. So, and he's not really my favorite character. It is kind of funny that they did this. They put a lot of these kind of B-tier characters and C-tier characters in this series and made you buy them to complete Giant Man. Kind of bizarre. And hey, it worked. I went and found them all in the aftermarket because I wasn't collecting these things 9 years ago. Wish I had been. Probably would have saved me some money. So, anyways, cool character. Somewhat cool character. And a pretty cool likeness of him. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks for your time. And please check out my other videos. Thanks.